Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit. Welcome to the first match of the TGS Blood Bowl between my Chaos Dwarf team, just as planned, and Dodger's team, the Bamazons.
Yay!
What a
I am
great
terrified
venue.
to play this game, but I'm going to do my best.
You've been practicing with Krendor, who is quite the Blood Bowl player, so...
I've been practicing quite a bit. I've logged, I think, 18 hours into this game now. I've been training, so I'm excited.
Well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to press escape to turn off the terrible camera that we cannot trust. And there are two buttons you should press. This is a good tip for any Blood Bowl player. Press N and press G.
NG?
Yep, N and then G.
Oh, what is this?
Isn't
This is a magical.
Yeah, so you know what this is going to show? It's going to show all the tackle zones, which is hugely useful. Incredibly useful.
Oh my gosh, and it shows you what each of your people is.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
memorized their headdresses in order to know what they do. This is magical.
Yep, it's pretty sweet. So that's a tip for anyone that starts. Being cyanide isn't very good at anything. So what generally happens is you have a situation where there's a bunch of hidden features that the game never tells you about. So that's a bit of a problem.
Oh, I'm so glad I know that now.
Yep. All right, so we're currently setting up our teams. I'm just looking at your formation here. There is basically no way through that formation without going through multiple tackle zones, which makes it an exceptional formation, and I have no doubt that Krendor deliberately told you that. But that's fine.
No, I've been trying different formations and figuring out which ones are my favorites for this team, so...
Yep, nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm gonna set mine up. I've never really been much of a formation person. My formation tends to devolve into hitting someone in the face and trying to do so in the most efficient way possible, so it's pretty hard for me to figure that out, but we'll see what we can do.
You know, with Chaos Dwarves, that's really all you need to worry about, right?
Apparently so, yeah. It seems to be the way of it. You know what I wish is that it would actually show my tackle zone. It's only showing yours right now. That would be great. I wonder what happens if I press... what was it, G? Yeah, so G just turns it off and on. Okay. Yeah, maybe there's a way to show personal tackle zones, but apparently not.
Oh, that would be nice,
It would.
too.
Yeah, because then you could figure out
even just knowing these two things is great right now.
Yeah, because then you could see your own tackle zones. You could set up accordingly based on that, but it's all right. That's okay. Looks like we are, for the most part, pretty decent right now. Okay. Let's rock and roll, shall we? Turn off that stupid camera again, and you get to kick.
All right. All right, going for it.
Kickoff. And the kickoff event is quick snap. The offense starts their drive a fraction before the defense is ready, which means that I believe this is a benefit for you, actually.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones
this
where...
is mine. Never mind.
It's you, okay.
Yep. Okay.
Is it the one where you can only move one square at a time?
Yeah, it allows everyone to move a single square if they so desire. So we can definitely do that if I want. I kind of don't. It's really no benefit to me right now. Before we go on, by the way, just a quick reminder for anyone who's new to Blood Bowl, turn on your dice log. And you do that by going down to the bottom left of the screen and clicking on the log button instead of the chat button. Why? Because you want to know what the dice rolls are, and you want to know why certain stuff happened. And a lot of stuff within Blood Bowl is governed by dice.
Sometimes you really don't want to know what the dice said, though.
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't make it. That's all that I want to know. I don't want to know that I rolled a 1. It's just going to upset me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I get to start the drive then, and it's time to do some fighting.
Do it.
This is what Chaos Dwarves are good at. Now, you have sensibly not put more than 3 Amazons on the line. Very good idea, because, well, there's a thing that Chaos Dwarves can do. And it kind of shuts down Amazons pretty hard, and that's the fact that their tackle skill negates the dodge skill, which is a gigantic pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start hitting people, because that's what the Chaos Dwarves are really, really good at. And I'm gonna start throwing my 2 dice blocks, and the reason I'm gonna throw 2 dice blocks is because there's way less risk of doing that than throwing a 1 dice block, which could result in a turnover, which would be absolutely dreadful. So I'm going to try and make sure that doesn't happen.
It's interesting because I got so used to being fairly impervious to turnovers because of the dodge, but being against this team, a lot of the times I'm able to be knocked over, which is hard.
Yes, that's absolutely the problem. Tackle is a really tricky thing to deal with on any dodge-heavy team, Because, and not only that, but if you try and dodge through a tackle zone on a player that has tackle, it negates that dodge ability. So it makes it much harder, especially since your girls are mostly agility 3, I think. I think they're all agility 3, actually, right?
I think so. Let me check. 3, 3. Yeah, and I doubt that my thrower and my catcher are different. Yeah, they're the same.
Yep, you would be correct in that assumption. All right. Okay, time to use my 1 blitz of the turn. Tigra,
no!
You are the target.
No!
Oh!
Curses.
Their first KO of the match. Tigra is out of there.
All right, yeah, let's heal her up.
Oh, use the apothecary to keep her on the field? All right, well, that was pretty early use of the apothecary. You don't have that for the rest of the game, so...
You know, I normally just use it right off the bat because I like trying to have a strong beginning if possible.
How many players do you have on your team? Do you have 12 or 11?
Let's see, 5... 11.
Oh, going for the foul, which was successful.
Dang it. Nah.
1 is out of there already, and this is what I like to call the cage. We're not very...
It's a fairly successful looking cage.
It looks reasonable, doesn't it? It's not unbreakable, but the point of the cage is to try and force dodgy teams to come to you, because that's exactly what you don't want to be doing. And I believe that ends my turn, so turn off that stupid camera again, and let's see what you've got.
All right, now that my ladies can get up.
No, they were stunned. Now, stun is a bit different to just a straight-up knockdown, because it takes 2 turns to get up rather than 1.
Let's see.
Now, more to the point, who do you have? You've got various catchers. Now, if you...
Fortunately, my blitzers aren't... I don't put my blitzers at the starting line, so I'm able to kind of have them as defense, but...
It's not terrible to put your blitzers on the starting line, especially since you have 4 of them, but it's just like, do you really want to even be on the starting line? Generally speaking, you put your line women there because they're kind of expendable, right? Losing a line woman is not as bad as losing one of your high-skilled players. So that, some people like to get fighty with teams like this, but against dwarves that have better armor and tackle, it's just like, why would you?
Yeah. I'll take you up in here. And I'm going to try something potentially dumb.
Okay, you sure you want to risk it now and not at the end of the turn? Just pointing out, this is a mistake that Jesse made a lot of the time, is taking stupid risks at dumb times.
No, I know.
Blood Bowl is a game about risk management, taking gambles only when necessary.
That's true.
It's generally always best to take all of your safe moves before you take anything that requires a big dice roll.
Yeah.
You know, the position that you've got there over to the right, which I believe would be your left, the catcher and the blitzer versus my 1 hobgoblin. Well, let's just say Young the hobgoblin is going to be getting slapped around a little bit.
Yeah, the hobgoblins, I've noticed, are a little bit easier to handle, especially since they don't have tackle.
Yeah, they don't have anything. I mean, they are your bog standard guys. They're 6-3-3-7, which is like just a really standard setup. They're basically worse than your Amazons in every way because they don't have any skills.
They can run a lot further than the normal Chaos Dwarves.
Oh, yeah. My Chaos Dwarves are fat and stumpy, so they ain't going anywhere. But the hobgoblins run at the same speed as your Amazons do.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now,
it's all you.
Now, what's kind of cool for you here is the fact that you've left some of your line women down, even though, like, I don't think you had a choice in that. I'm pretty sure they were both stunned. But just bear in mind, like, this is something that a lot of players make the mistake of, is in certain circumstances you don't want to get up. Because if you do, then you get hit again. Which, on a low armor team, never a good idea.
So this way they're still blocking an area,
exactly.
But can't get hit.
Absolutely. All right. Now, you've got a pretty decent setup here. Now, I'm going to have to try and start to break this, which is going to be kind of tricky because I'm going to have... You're forcing me to throw 1-dice blocks here, which is... I mean, I have the edge with a 1-dice block because I have block and tackle, which means that things work out better for me, but a 1-dice block means a 1 in 6 chance of completely screwing up and ending in a turnover. So I'm just looking for any possibility of something that would end up in a better dice roll, and it looks like we don't have any yet. But I can make that. Now, that's something that I can create by bringing in players to assist So I'm going to attempt to do just that, and I have found one that will allow me to hit you pretty hard, and I'm going to beat on your blitzer.
Aw, man, tackle, no!
Yes, all the tackle. Every tackle. Absolutely. So there's a hit on the blitzer there. I was deciding whether or not to move forward. You sometimes want to.
I was going to say.
Sometimes you don't. Like with Amazons, you often just want to kick them away because you don't want to be hit when they get back up. Because
exactly.
you're kind of weak
you don't
armor.
necessarily want to be next to them unless you're trying to create like a running line.
Pretty much, yeah. All right. Let's look at the kind of situation we've got going on. Okay, things are looking all right there. I'm going to move my Chaos Dwarf over here. Now, I only have 4 minutes, so I don't want to take too much time. What I'm going to be trying to do, which should be obvious, it's not like this is revealing some kind of grand scheme, is move my cage up, right? So that my cage is there, but it's slowly moving up the field, and you're being forced to fight it. So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking for anything that isn't a 1-dice roll, and it looks like I'm probably not going to get any of them because you've got a lot of tackle zones here, so I don't have the guard skill, so I can't negate that. So let's start throwing some 1-dice blocks and see what happens.
Woohoo!
So first things first, I'm going to throw a 1-dice block here with the hope of pushing her away, or just knocking her down. That works too.
Or just knocking me down.
Yeah, I can do that. There we go. And there's a smack.
Ploop.
Tasia does it down, and that gives me a 2-dice block against your thrower, which actually results in a push.
That's just a shove, thank goodness.
Yep, just a shove. Nothing particularly special about that, although I'm going to bring in Symbol, the Chaos Dwarf, to help out here. Yeah, I can throw a 2-dice block against someone with dodge. That's okay. I still have my blitz available, which might not turn out all that well. I don't really have... I've only got 2 hobgoblins left, so it's like, do I blitz with the hobgoblin? I could go for a going 1 dice against someone with dodge and block. That's super dumb, and you should never do it, by the way. Just a little pro tip there. Of course, I could get a little bit violent. I'm going to throw this 2-dice block, and then I might get a little bit violent here. Ah, it's another push.
Shove.
Another push. Not so good, not so good, but this is going to end up being rather interesting. And then I think I might go and possibly maybe just kick your downed player here.
Oh, come on, ref.
Oh, there's a knockout again, and the ref is blind. Ref is blind.
What's up with that?
And there we go. That's.
Does it have to do with? I've wondered this. Does it have to do with fan factor, whether or not the ref cares?
No, it's if you roll a double. If you roll a double in the injury roll, so you see like on the dice block there. So I rolled once to break your armor. I had to roll 8+ on 2d6 to do that, which I succeeded in doing. And then for the injury, I think it's the injury roll. I'm pretty sure it's the injury roll. If you roll a double, then you get sent off, and that's an immediate turnover. So fouling is pretty risky. There are certain skills that can kind of modify it to make it more in your favor, but it's still a pretty risky move.
Yeah.
That's why you never do it in the middle of a turn. You always do it at the end. To me, I'm okay losing a hobgoblin to get rid of one of your line women, especially on this drive, because that puts you a couple of players down. All right, so you're throwing blocks at me, and you got a good one there by the looks of it. Down goes my Chaos Dwarf blocker.
Can't attack any of that.
And of course, what you're trying to avoid is the double red dice, the infamous double red dice that mean that I get to pick the result, which is generally not a good block to throw.
Which is not, I'm just not into that.
Yeah, and Knorr did a great little beginner's guide that says, one of the rules as a beginner is you're not allowed to throw double reds, ever. Because you just don't, beginners don't understand the game good enough to understand when it's a good idea to throw those double reds.
Yeah.
You're considering blitzing the guy with the ball, eh?
No, he's a double red.
Yeah, exactly. No, you won't. What you need to do is start to break up that formation if you want to get the ball from me.
Yeah. All right. Scoot over here.
Nice. Yep, not going. I think you dodged out of a tackle zone there, actually. You dodged out without the dodge skill. That was actually kind of risky. That was a 50-50.
Boom.
Nice. That was the dodge skill being used. That's good. I mean, you were dodging out, I think, of the tackle zone of a hobgoblin there, so your dodge actually kicked in and gave you a bonus. So that's good. You're actually ganging up quite nicely over to the right there.
Nope.
Still looking for blitzers.
Yep.
Now, usually what will happen is if you attack a player that has a number of your friendly players around it, you get assists. But because they're also in range of other guys, they're kind of preoccupied, right? So that means that the assists don't necessarily count. So you throw 1 dice against him, which ends up being a push, which could be useful. You might be able to break this formation up here.
Push everybody over to the side.
That's nice. You've kind of opened my cage up a little bit.
That was the hope.
Yep.
I mean, the cage can reform around it pretty easily.
It can, but that's going to involve me going through tackle zones, right? Which is terrible with blockers because these guys are agility 2, so you've got to roll like a 5+, which is a terrible roll to make. Okay, nice. Once again, dodging out of a Hobgoblin's tackle zone with a dodge player, totally viable. Dodging out of a Chaos Dwarf's tackle zone, not so much. So, yeah, you pretty much did everything right there, I think. That's good. All right, let's see.
Oh, thanks.
It's cool. You know, here's the thing, right? If I win this, I'm going to be hated. And if I lose this, I'm going to be laughed at. So I'm just screwed for this game. So I'm just trying to be as helpful as possible because otherwise people are going to shout at me. All right, let's start breaking up this formation here. So I had a bunch of 1 dice blocks, so that's why I removed this blitzer from the equation so I can throw a 2 dice block against your other woman who...
Yeah, and shove her.
Give her a shove out the way, which is nice because that means the Chaos Dwarf blocker can now actually move. The question is, do I want to? Because it would be nice to get in range of a touchdown. That would be cool, but it also leaves him dangerously exposed.
But at what cost?
But at what cost? Yeah, well, I'm going to go forward a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can kind of form the cage around him and make sure that you can't get the ball back. Now, of course, I don't want to go next to the line. This is the mistake that I think that a lot of players make. It's like, oh, it'd be a really good idea to stand next to the sideline. No, it isn't. It's a terrible idea.
Not in this game. You can get shoved out and punched to death.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't do it. It's an awful, awful move most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. All right, let's see what other fighting we can do. Okay, so I can actually outnumber your blitzer and your linewoman here, which will give me some better rolls. And I'm going to start with a 2 dice roll against your blitzer here, which is going to result in your blitzer getting smacked about a little bit. There's a stun. Now, I could throw a 2 dice block. This is not a particularly risky move. It would be nice if I had block and tackle, so you might be getting out of this one, but I'm going to throw this anyway. Oh, and that's a bad result. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I think I might actually use a reroll here. There we go. And you're getting out of it anyway, because lol, dodge. This is why dodge is one of the best skills in the game.
It's a great skill.
Yeah. Because that defender stumbles, doesn't matter. You're too sneaky, you're too fleet of foot, so I can't do a damn thing.
Yeah, at first when I was playing with this team, against a lot of the other teams, I kept going, man, other teams have the one huge tank, it seems like. Yeah. But it's not even an option for me. That's so silly. And then once I realized how great having dodge for literally every single starting player is, I was like, it kind of evens out.
Yeah, it does. Amazons are a really strong team for that reason. Like, as a starting team with dodge on everybody, that's huge. Dodge and block are 2 of the biggest skills in the game because they drastically prevent the number of turnovers that you would otherwise get. So that's huge. All right. So,
blitz.
I was thinking about it. I mean, it's going to be 1 dice one way or the other. So, it's like, unless I want to reposition my Chaos Dwarf blocker, which I absolutely don't want to do, then is there a way around this? Aha! So, a pro tip. Cyanide Blood Bowl is dumb, right? Because if I blitz from here, and that's going to be, I'm going to take the shortest distance, that puts me in assist range of your line woman, which means I roll 1 dice. However, if I move him around here and then blitz him from the other side, like this, I get a 2 dice roll, which ends up in a push anyway. Cue Blood Bowl.
But you know what? You thought it through. Yeah, that's what matters.
Exactly. You know, I made a roll that was safer. So I now have... That's not a safe roll. It's 1 dice against the line woman. Probably won't result in anything, but it's not a terrible roll. It's like a 1 in 6 chance of me getting a turnover. But it is the end of my turn anyway. So I'm going to take that roll. And that results in a push. So I'm going to shove you around a little bit. And then I'm going to close that gap. And that is going to be my turn done. Pretty sure there's nothing else I can do. So, forward. Your turn.
All right. Get up, Lion-O. You have Thundercats to defend.
Let's see what she can do. It's actually a pretty good situation for you. You've got 3 people versus my 2, and we're all strength 3, right? So you're actually going to be able to get a dice advantage here.
Yeah, I have doubles on Man, alright. Okay. She can't get up.
Yep, she's stunned.
And
So she's not getting up till next turn.
One. That's a red, which I don't want.
Definitely not at the start of your turn.
Okay. Well, which one? I think this one.
Alright, good result.
I'm going to do that, and no, I don't want to follow you.
And that's one of the situations where I would have said you should have, and the reason being, it gives you a free move away from that Chaos Dwarf's tackle zone, because tackle doesn't come into effect when you do a follow-up.
Right.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but there are some limited times when you do want to follow, because it lets you move a square around the pitch that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to without having to roll yet another dice to do it, right? But it's okay. I mean, it's not really a big deal. You would have still had to run out of this guy's tackle zone anyway.
Right.
So now you're in a situation where I guess... Lino just got up, so she can't really do anything. You can actually blitz, like from down, you can actually blitz out of a down, which is quite nice, but it's only useful in certain circumstances.
You can do what?
So if your player's down, usually you get back up and you can't block, right? But if you blitz, he gets up and then blitzes, which is kind of great.
I've seen other teams do that, and I've never done it before.
Yeah, there are certain circumstances where it's useful.
It's just when they're down, you just select to blitz, and then they get up and... Oh.
Yep. So it's like, if you look at your team composition, you think, well, there's no one here that would be really useful to blitz. I can throw an extra block this turn if I use my blitz on someone that's down.
Right. Okay. I'm going to try this.
Okay. Ooh, goes for the dodge. Right. Ah, nice positioning. Okay. As my cage is not that great. There's only 3 people there.
Wait, I don't have any other double hits, right? No. Okay.
Take whatever doubles you can get.
Okay. Then I'm gonna move her down here. And... that's so risky. It's not so risky, it's just risky enough that I don't want to do it.
Sometimes you gotta take risks.
That's true. That is so true.
Bear in mind you still have rerolls. You've got all 4 of your rerolls intact.
I do.
There's a bit of shoving going on.
Yeah. But now... That might not have been a good idea.
I'm just waiting for it to actually show me what happened.
Oh, really? It hasn't shown you yet?
Nope. Hasn't shown me anything, actually. I'm hoping the game hasn't frozen up.
Well, this will be my last move, so I'm going to try it. Yeah, okay, nice. Cool. End of turn.
Cool.
Your turn.
All right, that seemed to work out pretty well. All right, so what situation am I currently in? Well, one of my Chaos Dwarves is flat on his ass, doing nothing useful, so we're going to change that. There we go, that makes things a little bit better. It's still 1 dice, but it's not dreadful. All right, so the cage is the situation right now. Something has to be done about this. Now, I'm thinking I can just throw a 2 dice block there and things will be just fine. I can also fight here, and I'm thinking that might be a pretty good idea, because I'm fairly sure I can get some 2 dices against you here. I'm just trying to figure out where. And it looks like I don't have... It's the lack of guard that's really killing me here. But I think maybe there are some situations where I could make this work. There we go. I found myself a 2 dice block. And I'm going to throw that.
Oh, tackle, no!
Every time, it's like, oh no, I'm not.
Like, oh no!
Oh, there's a KO. Another line woman is down for the count.
Dice are not in my favor.
I'm just going to check your area. What have we got? 3. Oh, is that 3 KOs? There we go. And you've burned your apothecary already. Okay, so I want to really try and start injuring your team now. I mean, just providing delicious and wonderful chocolates for your team.
Right.
Yeah, those are things that will happen.
Of friendship.
Naturally.
Because we're obviously, like, besties.
Yeah, certainly.
Right? Yeah.
The long alliance between the Chaos Dwarves and the Amazons is well known and charted throughout history. Now that gives me a 2-dice block against...
Oh, man. Oh, no!
Bam, bam, bam. All right.
Oh.
It's another stun.
Dang.
Okay, I've got a 2-dice... Now, I don't want to throw this yet because this is kind of more important. If I get a turnover here, which would be highly embarrassing, then I won't be able to do what I want to do to break this cage, so...
Right.
I've got an idea. And the Hobgoblin's gonna be the one doing it. That was good enough. I only needed a shove to get you out of there, and now this will result. Yeah, I can afford to do that.
Got a better hit on me now?
Right. Okay, so it's a shove. That's okay. I want to try and... I'm trying to deal with your tackle zone issue here and doing the best I possibly can. So me or the Hobgoblin, forward you go.
Me?
This is still kind of awkward, but not impossible. It's like, I really, really want to get to that end zone. I'm one square away from going for it. I could do it, but... Let's just see. So your catcher could...
You should go for it, TV.
No. Don't roll any dice that you don't need to. Don't try and break me out of my Blood Bowl habits. It's not going to work.
I don't know what you mean.
There's some kind of trickery at play here. So I can either throw a 2-dice block or I can foul your line woman. 2-dice block against someone with dodge and block is not... It's not great, but it's a decent-ish roll. And it results in bugger all useful. So I guess we're just shoving you around a little bit. Okay, there we go.
Well, at least you went for it.
And that's the greatest gift of all. All right, your turn.
Okay.
So you're in a situation where next turn my Chaos Dwarf blocker is going to score without having to roll the dice to do it.
Yeah, I have to take a chance here.
Which is exactly the situation I was hoping to put you in. But then, unfortunately, I don't have any of my Chaos Dwarves out there, so you've still got dodge, remember?
Yes.
I just want to point out we're 8 turns into this game and no one's had a single turnover yet.
I know! That is amazing!
It's statistically likely if everyone's playing properly. It is not statistically likely if your name is Jesse Cox.
Oh, poor Jesse. He's training.
Yes, training. That's a good way to put it.
He's doing all the training, and he will become another passable player.
The very best. We'll see.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to risk, man. I feel like all of my extraneous players out here, it's going to be a risk of a turnover if I move them. So I feel like I should just go for...
There's one player you can move that isn't risky, that could potentially prevent this. And in fact, you're in a pretty decent position to make that work. Everyone else does have some risk associated with them. Admittedly, you want to manage that risk.
I'm actually not sure who you mean. Everybody, I think if I move them, has to go through a zone.
There's one person that doesn't. You see near my Chaos Dwarf blocker that's almost near the end zone, you see that line woman? She doesn't have to.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, I know. But that's why I was like, I think that's the move that I have to do first, because everybody else might
Everyone else
turn
is a
over.
risk, exactly. There's actually... Oh, you're going to blitz with her? Okay. That was a mistake. Oh!
Dang it! Are you kidding me? I shouldn't have rerolled!
Oh! It was going to be a turnover if you hadn't rerolled. That was unfortunate.
Oh, man.
Oh,
I had to go for it, though.
You didn't? There's one thing. What I would have done in that situation was actually to just move her into range so that she was marking the target, like she was ahead of the Chaos Dwarf blocker, not actually punch him.
Yeah.
And then what I would have done is take the other line woman that's right next to the Hobgoblin, right next to the edge of the pitch, and then blitz with her because she's got dodge. So chances are she's getting out of that tackle zone with the Hobgoblin to punch the blocker in the face with the dice advantage. That's what I would have done.
That's true.
But that was unfortunate. Again, it happens. Right, now, what I can do here is I could go to score, or I can take a lot of pretty safe rolls to do more damage before I then score, because there's now no chance of you stopping that.
I mean, feel free to score. That's cool.
Would you prefer me to score rather than beating up a bunch of your Amazons?
I mean, you do what you want. I'm just saying, if you want to, just, like, not do the beating up thing, that would be cool.
Unfortunately, it is in my Chaos Dwarf nature to start throwing blocks. It's just what we do. They're called Chaos Dwarf blockers. They get really antsy if they don't do that.
That's true. You have to keep them happy as their coach.
You kind of do. I mean, you've had no injuries so far. Uh-oh. Welp.
And now I have a broken jaw. TV, thanks. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
It seems like my sacrifices to the great god of the dice, Nuffle, did a real number on you this time. Jesus. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, it's only a broken jaw. That is mixed. The thing is, if it was minus attributes, that would have been way worse, right? You miss next game. Yeah. That kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
Anything like broken hip that impedes your movement or anything like that is just the worst.
Minus strength is probably one of the worst things I've seen. Like, I saw a goblin get minus strength, take his strength down to 1. It was like, you're not going to be punching anybody.
That's so sad.
It kind of is, but I don't have any sympathy for goblins, so... Alright, I'm going to blitz that blitzer over there. There we go. Forward, and...
Shove.
No! Nope, no shove for you. Sorry.
Oh, gosh, no. Come on.
It's okay. She's not dead yet.
I know.
Now, I think now I'm actually going to have to run this home because I don't want to throw any more blocks and I don't want to foul you because I know what's going to happen. What Nuffle giveth, Nuffle taketh away. So, he's going to send my guy off and then you're going to get that line woman out of the tackle zone and successfully blitz my blocker and everything's going to go wrong. So, I'm going to go for it.
Do it.
There it is.
Touchdown.
Mighty touchdown. The slowest touchdown in Blood Bowl history, but it did happen.
All right. I got to step it up this next time.
Well, I mean, it's at the end of the drive, which means you have a chance of all your KO players getting up again. Actually, you're getting lucky. 3 of your KO players are getting up.
Yeah,
right.
That's what's up.
That's nice. If they hadn't, then this next 2 turns... Well, let's just say the next 2 turns might have been a bit painful for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So it looks like you've got a reasonable amount of strength on the field there, so that's good.
That was turn 4 or turn 5?
I think it was it turn 5 or turn 6, actually? It was looks like it was turn 5.
Okay.
Okay, so you still have you could still score before the halftime quite easily.
Yeah, there's possibility to score, perhaps.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see what we have. God, I have this feeling that I didn't watch that Knorr video properly, and there is a way to show my tackle zones. And I'm feeling like a colossal idiot for not being able to figure out how. But
just press all the buttons.
Pretty much. Like, G seems to be what shows the grid. And then N is names. You can also, like, N cycles through some other stuff. Like, team... It's got your player numbers, your player names. It also has a bunch of dice information that I can't even read because it's, like... advanced calculus, so I don't know what the hell's going on with that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that actually shows you stuff like what the dice rolls would be on blocks before you actually do them, so that's really helpful.
Yeah, that is helpful.
But I can't figure it out because I have no mathematical skill at all. All right, so you actually only have 2 on the line there. All right. I thought you had to... Oh, there you go. I was going to say you have to have a minimum of 3. I think this is a mistake Jesse made, and he whined about it because he only put 1 on the line because he didn't want to get beaten up, and then it forces you to put 2 more.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's like you have to have 3. It's designed to stop dodgy teams from just being able to completely avoid the guys at the front because that would just be, well, 1, cowardly, and 2, no fun whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right, time to kick. Let's see where we go.
I'm ready.
All right.
Bring it.
Now, Chaos Dwarves are not known as the best kickers in the world, so this could go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
God damn.
Terrible at it.
Pitch invasion is going on. Both coaches roll the dice for each opposite player on the pitch and add their fame to the roll. If a roll is 6 or more after modification, then the player is stunned. Players with the ball and chain skill are KO'd. A roll of 1 before adding fame will always have no effect. This is actually bad for me, isn't it?
Is it? I don't even know if I understand this.
Because I have a higher fame rating. So I'm going to hit it, and oh, good.
Oh,
Jesus
my
Christ.
gosh, no way, what is happening?
Well, Jesus, that was rough.
That was awful. That was the worst.
Well, I only got one of my hobgoblins got knocked out, so I'm kind of okay with that. It looks.
I think that went well for you because
of the fan factor.
Fan
Yeah, I actually invested a lot into fan factor, which means I get a +1 modifier on a lot of this stuff. So.
All right, Snarf, you better pick this up. Do not fumble this.
Nice. There you go.
Thank God. I had to re-roll for it, but that's okay.
Yeah. A little tip, by the way, in future for anyone wanting to pick up the ball. Try and put some players next to the person who's going to try and kick up the ball before you do it. Because what happens is...
Yeah, because they can possibly catch it.
You'll still get a turnover because you failed, but at least you then have the ball and it's not on the floor, which means you would have had to roll another pickup. So it's all about minimizing dice rolls and risk. All right, but you still have plenty of time to score this round, so... I'm going to be careful.
Fingers crossed.
Well, my Chaos Dwarf blockers are also in completely the wrong place because all of your line women are down on the ground here. Oh!
It's okay. It was my last move for it, and I was like, I'll go for it.
This actually sucks for me because I've got 5 Chaos Dwarf blockers that can't do a damn thing, and they're like standing around like, well, there's nobody to punch. It was really smart to keep those line women down.
What do we do? Can they reach? How far is there? Wait.
Oh, can they get to you? Yeah, they can.
They can get
totally
right in front of me.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I'm going to be doing. But I would have preferred just to punch you. I'm just being honest about my intentions.
I'm sorry
here.
I've robbed you of that.
I don't have any ulterior motives. I'm very honest about what I want to do. So, oh god, this is actually a nice little setup you've got here. I would love to just blitz the girl with the ball, but that's not actually going to happen. So, this is a wonderful situation for fouling, though. So, I'm thinking...
Oh, come on.
All I'm saying is it's a legitimate hobgoblin tradition. And I can't deny them that because they'll get upset.
Ref!
No. The ref is understanding. He's a very tolerant ref. He understands different cultures. How many people can we gang up on this one line woman?
No!
Let's try 5.
This is the worst.
This is a +5 modifier. Please don't send my hobgoblin off. Yes! Doesn't injure you. God damn it.
Oh, thank goodness. She's only just... Oh.
That could have gone a lot worse for you. I actually rolled really bad dice.
That could have gone so poorly.
Oh, man. Okay. That was kind of a waste of resources, actually, because now half of my guys are on the wrong side of the field, but we'll see what we can do. It's violence.
I mean, I'm cool with it.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it. It's what I do. I mean, I do the violence thing. That's what my team is good at. Oh, I can't blitz from this range. God, I actually screwed this up a bit. I was hoping to use my blitz to get into range and punch you, but... You
were just so excited to stomp the snot out of my line woman.
Yeah, I guess that kind of overrides my tactical genius, doesn't it? All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start taking risks because it's 2 turns for me before the end, and I still have 3 rerolls, which means I should start burning rerolls to get them all back at the next half. So I'm going to start taking some risks.
Oh, Blitzy.
Yep, we're going to blitz. Blitzing your blitzer with a hobgoblin. Yeah, let's re-roll that.
I mean, feel free to choose. I mean...
Oh, well.
It's cool.
Okay, there we go. So we got a little bit of a cage going on here, and I think that's pretty much all I want to move. So let's end that turn.
Get up, girl.
Yep, she needs to be involved in this somehow. I mean, you have throwers and catchers, so... There is a move that I could never pull off, which involves, you know, just getting a catcher downfield and just throwing the ball past my...
Yeah.
My players are really bad at doing anything involving the ball that isn't running with it. So there are some situations where, you know, getting the ball to a thrower, for instance, and then getting a catcher downrange would be a great idea to completely bypass everything I can possibly do.
Right. Do that. You up.
The question is, can you break my little blockade?
Yeah.
Bear in mind, if you try and dodge without blitzer, you are in tackle zones with players that have tackle, so your dodge isn't going to work.
Right.
You can still do it, but it's riskier. Alright, so Hobgoblin's going down flat on his face by the looks of it. Okay, so this is looking a bit better for you.
Can I move you?
You can try.
I can
Dwarves
try.
don't really like that sort of thing. They prefer standing still. I think the only team that prefers standing still more is probably the tree men.